In the midterm, I added an self-evaluation, okay? So the self-evaluation is 1 point of the midterm. You know what I mean? So there's 1 point for you to assign yourself. You know what I mean? So there's some aspects that I'm asking there that you should take into account. So you are going to assign that, point to yourself. All right? According to the aspects that are being presented there. For that, for that, for that self-evaluation, it's important to remember that you have to copy the chart that I have created there because it's going to appear as a question, and it has the instructions as well. But just to avoid any mistake, I would like to explain you. Okay, so there is a square, okay, with some criterias from 5 is the highest score and 1 is the lowest. So from 1 to 5, you are going to assign a score to yourself according to the aspects that I have put there. So that is equal to 1 point, okay? And it's at the end of the test. Another thing that I would like to clarify is that when you finish your midterm, okay, um, it's going to appear just like the score that you have in the first 5 questions. The other questions you have to write down, right? You have to write down, elaborate, and analyze, think, and write. So for those questions, I mean, the score, it won't appear immediately because I have to uh, check them. I have to revise them. You know what I mean? So I have to read them first, and then I have to assign a score manually. You know what I mean? Like I have to like write it. So don't be afraid if your score is 2.5, for example. If your score is 2, because that's not your global score, okay? That is your temporary score until I check the other ones, okay? So any question about that before going to the topic? No? No questions about that, about those activities? Okay, silence means two things: that you have understood everything or you haven't understood anything. I hope that you have that you have understood everything and not the opposite. Okay, well, let's start. Now, the other topic that we were studying was the EdTech trends, right? Um, Here in this class, we were clarifying how to use technological tools and the importance of learning about them, right? Especially nowadays and with the reality that we have right now, okay? Since we are in a pandemic situation, we had to adapt to what we had. Obviously, there were some areas that were not that ready, and that's why they are suffering the change, especially the public education. Okay, they have had many problems, but the Ministry of Education, in my opinion, she has done the best she could, providing resources and stuff. However, there's a long way, to have a quality of education. We have to change a lot of things, and probably we have to invest more money on education. I have always thought about that the money that governments invest in the army and the justice should be better if they include more money on education, or more money on creating a better curriculum, or better platforms for learning, or providing students with technological tools, like computers, for example. better internet connection so they students can have access all the time. You know what I mean? So, however, that's not the topic, right? The topic is technological, tools that we can use. So here we were discussing the importance of technology, right? Like right now, you know, we are in communication because of technology. If the university, you know, did not have all these resources, the platform, and all of this, education would not be possible. You know what I mean? And I know that it has advantages and disadvantages, right? However, humans, we have something that we can adapt ourselves to the situation that we have, and this had happens for the whole history. History times. Like at the beginning, we didn't have fire, right? So humans were adapting their way of living um, based on their needs. So I know that the first semester, for example, was really hard for you because the virtual classes, the homeworks, uh, it was tiring somehow. Maybe in this semester you are getting used to, or some of you are used to. However, it has been hard for students and also for teachers because the virtual thing has shown as well that we need more preparation in technological tools. We need more training in this form. And as a personal recommendation, okay, as a personal advice, I would highly recommend you that as soon as you graduate from the bachelor degree, I highly recommend you to specialize yourself in a virtual area. You know what I mean? I would like you to prepare yourself in that area because the future is in that area. This virus thing has shown that this is going to be happening, okay? And probably in a worse scenario, education is going to be like that. So I would highly recommend you to specialize yourself in this area, okay? Like right now, for example, I'm studying a master's degree in virtual things, um, for us it's not something that I really want, but it's a need. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me, I prefer like face-to-face classes because I was like grown like that. However, I have to adapt to the changes. If you don't adapt to the changes, if you don't prepare yourself, then there's gonna come another people or another person that it will take your job. You know what I mean? So that's why we need to be updating ourselves, and thinking about what is new, you know and that's not happening in public education. So the use of technology, I mean, it's essential nowadays. Like if you don't know how to use Zoom, if you don't know how to use Teams, if you don't know how to use WebEx, if you don't know how to use Google Meet, like if you don't know how to use Google Docs, how to work online, if you don't know how to use Excel, if you don't know how to use PowerPoint, how to create PowerPoint presentations, then you have a lot to learn because that nowadays that is basic. You know what I mean? Especially that you guys are teaching these days. So I hope that you have time for spending and checking out how does like Zoom works, or how to use Teams or any other resource, because you're gonna need it. So, and if not, then the experiences, that you're gonna have, they're gonna teach you. They're gonna teach you how to use them. Some of us have learned that in that way. However, as an advice, and I'm telling you that learning about this, it's important. All right, so um, this was basically, the importance of this topic. being aware of the needs that we have of technology. I know that there are some advantages and disadvantages, right? Uh, Teaching online has advantages, and it has some important advantages because um, it is open, to all of students. If they have access to internet, they can all join video conferences. If they cannot be there in the moment, they can watch the recording, later. So again, using the technology, because getting the recording and getting the link and all that, it's part of the technology. Like 20 years ago, we did not have that technology. So if you missed the class, there wasn't a way of updating yourself, So the solution was to review by yourself. Here, you have the opportunity to watch the video as many times as you want, or to go online and research information that is um, that is there immediately. You know what I mean? That is one of the advantages. So students have access to information fast. That is one of the main advantages that we have uh, in this modality. Um, Also, it is easy to use, I would say, because like you can just follow some steps. Okay, you can just follow some steps, and uh, and that you're gonna be acquiring and getting used to a new tool. For example, um, you can also share presentations with your students and all that. I know that for some students it's hard to learn in this way because they're not used to. But as I mentioned it before, it is one of the characteristics that we have, that is adapting to new ways of living. So that is basically those are some advantages. Now, some disadvantages that we have is that if we don't have enough resources, if we don't have a good internet connection, you know that's an disadvantage. If we do not have the knowledge for using the tools that we have, that's also a problem. That's a disadvantage. So I think that your goal should be to focus in this area a little bit more in the future, because classes classes like in 10 or 15 years are going to be like this. A lot of people would decide to study virtually because of their jobs, because of their time, and time management as well. It's important in this kind of modality. So those are basically the most important parts of this, technological trends. Of course, there are many platforms and many programs that we can use and share with students. You guys that are being in the practice, in the teaching practice, I mean, I would recommend you Zoom if you ask me, because of the interaction. However, you can use the one you that you want at the end. You can check them, the different ones that we have, and then you can just use it if you feel comfortable with it. All right. So, any question or comment so far about this, or about the things that I said at the beginning? Anybody?
Yeah. Can you explain about what you told us in the beginning? Because I entered late.
Oh, well, yeah. At the beginning, Kevin, I was explaining about the midterm and about the self-evaluation. In the midterm, you will have 5 questions, right, or 5 statements at the beginning, that they are equal to zero point 0.5, each of them. Okay, that means that if question number 1 it's correct, then you're having zero point 0.5. If question number 2 is correct, you're having zero point 0.5. That makes 1 point. Okay, so the first 5 questions are multiple choice. All right. Now, The other five questions you have to write, you have to analyze and think about answering. Okay, it's not multiple choice. It's that you have to complement the questions. And I have some specific instructions in each of them. Okay, and they have to do with the explanations that I'm basically giving you. Okay, because there in those other five questions, that some of them are equal to 2 points, some of them are equal to 1 point. They are really interesting because you're going to be producing, okay, and using your own words. And I have clarified then there that I want your opinions. I don't care about the information on the internet. Of course you can read and take an idea or something, but like giving your own words, for example, about technology, I can ask you, okay, please write down a paragraph of 200 words explaining the advantages and disadvantages of virtual classes, for example. Okay, so imagine like you're gonna start. Okay, in my opinion, right? I think that the virtual modality has been kind of difficult for students because in a reality, that blah 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 blah, right? And you start writing, giving your point of view, okay? Because this is basically what I care, okay? I mean, I can give you a thousands of theories and thousands of paragraph with information, but I'm not really interested in getting tons of information, copy and paste. You know what I mean? Like, I want your ideas. I want you to reflect, okay, in the answer. And I don't care if you make 10 mistakes, okay? What I care is that you write down your ideas and what you think about it, okay? What you have gotten during the sessions, okay? What you have gotten while you were reading the information or watching videos or whatever. Okay, so that's my idea with the midterm. Okay, that's why I don't like to write down concepts and textual answers. I don't like that. I think that um, critical thinking, is developed when you produce, when you give your ideas and offer solutions, and implement things. So that's my idea with the midterm. So you don't really need to study a lot for getting a 10 in my exams, but what you really need to do is to analyze, think, and produce. Okay. Now the last part, it's the question number 11, Kevin. In question number 11, there is a self-evaluation. In the self-evaluation, there are some aspects, okay? And then you have to score yourself. That question is equal to 1 point, okay? So if you think, because this is based on your opinion, if you think that you have all the aspects that I'm listing there, then you have 10 in that part, okay? But that's gonna be like on you, I have nothing to do with that point. It's a self evaluation. Okay, you're gonna assign your score there. All right. Okay, any other question about that?
No, thanks.
All right. All right, now we're moving to the last topic, which is about critical thinking. All right, now here in critical thinking there is a lot to say. However, we're just mentioning the most important parts, okay, of critical thinking. And the main idea of critical thinking is basically to focus on creating or making students reflect, okay, reflect and also analyze and also produce, solutions to problems, okay? For critical thinking, our aim should be give students assignments in which they offer solutions, they in which they reflect, in which they rethink and restructure something, and it's like a it's like a what like it's like life, you know what I mean? In life, for example, you try something, it didn't work, then you see why it didn't work, and then you try something new. Critical thinking, it's a skill that prepares you for life, you know what I mean? For working, for getting a job, for make you like awake, you know what I mean? Like for awaken those ideas that you sometimes you don't share with the world. So basically that's the idea of critical thinking. um in education in education, most of the time it's important to implement activities for students, to develop these skills. And this topic should be taught, since like elementary school, you know what I mean? Like without even telling them, okay, this is critical thinking, without even telling them their theory, you know what I mean? Because here in the university, it's another story, right? Because you can reflect, you're learning, you know what I mean? Like you're learning this, and it's good to explain you how it works and why it's important, because you're gonna be teachers in the future. However, for kids, we can just implement activities for them to develop these skills. You know what I mean? Uh, we don't have to tell them or explain them that, oh, okay, guys, this is critical thinking and blah, blah, blah. No. For them, we are going to focus on activities for implementing them, offering solutions. Like, for example, with little kids, you can implement small projects in their communities, okay? To create, like a paragraph, about problems in their communities and how to solve them, how to solve the problem. It can be maybe a very small problem, like people throwing trash on the streets, or maybe that your community doesn't have enough trees, etc. So the um, eco-friendly projects, they should be also one thing that we should talk a little bit more in schools, since we're having troubles and serious troubles with our the global warming thing. You know what I mean? If we don't teach our kids, if we don't change the culture that we have now, then the kids, they won't have a future here in this planet. So uh, english english can be taken, in extracurricular things, such as projects like the ones that I mentioned. And they can recycle, they can create projects about that, and then they will explain why is it important to do it, and they are developing critical thinking as well. And we can do this in all of the levels. Most of modern teachers are focusing on this, that traditional education in which you had to memorize a lot of information, a lot of text. I mean, that's part of the past, I would say. And I know that there's still like some kind of teachers that they are focusing on that, but I think that it depends of the area. However, you can develop critical thinking in all of the areas. We just need to find a way how to implement it. You know what I mean? So basically, critical thinking is focusing on that, right? On the ability to analyze information. In the activity that I left for you guys, I was checking that some of you were very creative, offering activities. Most of them were interesting. Some of them were repetitive, and I wrote some comments there. However, as teachers, I am pretty sure that you will have a lot of time for learning new activities, because we can take advantage of the internet and getting ideas, but we can change them, we can improve them, okay? And that's not a sin. I mean, plagiarism, it shouldn't happen. I mean, you can get an activity, but you can modify it, you know what I mean? Or you can improve it, or you can adapt it, and that's okay. but just getting one idea and just copy and paste, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like I can get some information, but I can um I can basically ask, okay, if the information is correct, okay? I can basically explain what I think about that information, and that's perfectly acceptable, okay? However, it would be good if you guys create your own activities, you know? Maybe you can take one idea from one place, one idea from the other, and you can start creating your ideas. Teachers are very creative. And they don't like they weren't like they were not born creative. Some of them they learned during the process. So uh, critical thinking activities can be everywhere. Okay, um, some of them can be as small projects, and you can implement them to make students offer, you know, solutions to problems in your community, and that would be a good way. One of you wrote about it and wrote about friendly, eco-friendly activities, and that was awesome. I really love the idea. So the main objective of critical thinking, it's basically make students reflect, okay, think about the information, try, right, try solutions, right, and also if the solution was okay, they can also improve it. Okay, like as the time passed by, they can improve it. All right, so that's basically the idea of critical thinking. And now about activities, like you can implement different activities. Okay, that is on you. Of course you can take help, like you can get help from the internet or any other resources. However, what I'm saying is that think about your students and think about the modifications that you can make. Okay, think about your audience all the time. All right, so any question before leaving? Is there any question about this or any comment?
I have a question.
All right.
So for the midterm, how many tries are we gonna have? Like just one or two?
Oh no, for the midterm, you have plenty of time and you have two attempts. You will have two chances.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
you will have like 1 hour and 40 minutes for taking the test. So if you made a mistake or something, you have another attempt. Okay.
Perfect. And you said that it was gonna be about analyzing stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, but does it help if we read the slices? That
But okay. Let me explain. The
uh,
questions that I have designed, okay, are for you to explain, okay, for you to
oh
like give your point of view. You know what I mean? Of course, you can check the information again, and then based on that information, you can like rephrase and also give your point of view. You know what I mean?
yeah, got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a test in a classroom, right? In a classroom, you probably won't have the chance to check the material because you are supposed to check the material every week. However, I know that it's impossible to remember the whole, I mean, the whole 5 sessions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can check, you can read before taking the test, and then you can have a clear idea about the topics, and then
Okay.
you can extend your answers based on your opinions and based, of course, on our reality as well. You can mention that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't get a 10, I'll be upset.
Yeah. Will be more.
Hopefully you get 10. Like, I mean, the exam, it's like very simple, but also it would be very useful because it's gonna make you think and analyze. All right.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, Mister.
Yeah, anytime. Is there any other question before leaving, guys? I know that you're hungry or you probably like want to eat something. Me too. So, is there any question?
No.
No. Okay, no. Kevin?
According we have seen so far, the review that this topic is to calm the meter, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you well. What do you say?
According to what we have seen so far, is going to calm the meter. The review that we haven't seen so far.
Exactly, exactly.
Uh,
Basically, I had given you the midterm already. So,
oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, your job is gonna be just to look at the questions and then just like create your answers. I mean, yeah, but this is pretty much like all of the things that I have said here are going to be there.
Okay, flawless. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Was there any other question? Or we're good?
I think it's enough. Nobody wants to talk anymore.
Yeah, they're probably hungry, and I understand. All
Yeah,
right.
probably we're very hungry.
All right. Well, if you don't have any question, guys, thanks for being here, and good luck in the test. I'm pretty sure that you're getting a really good score.
Taking a bunch.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yep.